What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be explaining to you all why it's not a bad thing that we're getting a partner showcase. And you might be like, we're getting a partner showcase? I didn't know about that. Sort of. This week, in fact, the first week of February, we are kind of guaranteed to get one. And it's not just likely, it's very, very possible. And if you've been in the Nintendo community recently, you've probably heard of a man called Nate the Hate. He is a very popular leaker, and he's literally been 100% right. He's never been wrong with any leak he's said. And he's confirmed that there will be a Nintendo partner showcase in the first week of February. So, very interesting. Now, you're probably hearing this and being like, why on earth is there going to be this? Because you think there should be a general one, and that's very fair, and there should be. I just want to explain, yeah, I'm going to be kind of hyping it up a little, but I don't really condone it either. Do I think Nintendo should have gone with the General Direct? Yes, that's what Nintendo needs. But if we are stuck with a partner showcase, well, let's talk about it. See what we could get. You know, I think it'll be a lot more exciting than most people think. So, I don't condone the behavior of giving us a partner showcase, but if we're stuck with one, let's dive into it, shall we? First thing I gotta mention is why it's exciting and not a terrible thing that we're getting this partner showcase. And the whole point of a partner showcase is to be like a general Nintendo Direct, except only third-party games. So, no first-party stuff, obviously. And not really a bad thing. I mean, there are some insane third-party games out there that we could see coming to this console. And for some people who have other consoles, they're like, I've already played these games on my other consoles, I don't care. But for the majority of Switch 2 owners, they don't have a lot of other consoles. The Switch 2 is probably like their only console, and because of that, third-party games are very important to them, assuming they like to branch out from first-party games. And myself included, I don't have many other consoles, so to get third-party games, that's still very exciting to me. And I really am excited. My gaming experience is a lot different from others in the fact of I don't prefer tons of games a year. I prefer quality over quantity. So if you give me like 3 games that I really like in a year, I would much rather that than 5 games I'm okay with. And I'm like one of the few people who feel this way, in a way. So I understand my game experience is different, and I just prefer, smaller amounts of games. But at least for me, this is really exciting, and I don't want you guys to feel like it's actually a terrible thing, when, especially from my perspective, it's a pretty amazing thing. Do I think Nintendo should have a General Direct? Yes, but you gotta understand, for, people like me who basically only have a Switch 2 as their console, that's like, oh, tons of new games, and that's just so exciting. So, overall, this is just not a bad thing. And, yeah, but you gotta think, if we got General Nintendo Direct, that's a lot of games that could be stressful to the average person. Tons of first-party games that are supposed to be amazing. I mean, for a very average consumer, that is a lot to consider, and they're like, well, which one should I get? And I've run into this problem myself, so it's kind of nice to keep it laid back in a way. And I know not everybody thinks that. Most, some people have a ton of free time and, can afford to play a large variety of games. So they prefer tons of options. But for people with, schedules, sometimes having a smaller pool of choices can actually be a good thing. Now I want to talk about the games that we could see at this Direct. And first I'm going to be going over the games that we already know about, but we don't know much information about. So this Direct would be a good opportunity to give us that information. First game I want to talk about is Elden Ring. We don't know when in this year it's coming out. We just know this year. So for all those Elden Ring fans, this game should be exciting for you. We just don't know much about it, and this Direct would be a great time to give us a release date. Next is the Duskbloods game, exclusive to the Switch 2. And it's like a PvPvPe or something. It's basically like player versus player versus environment. And this one's a little, worrying almost, because from what I've heard, a lot of people are worried this game won't actually be that good. So, I hope it's good, and we don't have much information, so just gotta wait. next game would be Orbitals, the Switch 2 exclusive, but it's also co-op only. So if you have a spouse, sibling, parent, and you each have some free time, this game will be right for you. It's set in this like 90s anime style, and the art style is just amazing. Like, the art style is one of the things that this game will probably be heavily praised for. It's coming out on the Switch 2 exclusively, and we don't have too much about it. It was like revealed at the Game Awards, so really need some more info on that. But very excited for Orbitals myself, and yeah, it'd be a great time to give us more info on it at this direct. Next game is Pragmata. I am very excited for this game. It is by Capcom. We know Capcom loves supporting Nintendo and loves adding their games to the console. And this game looks like it's going to be amazing. You play as two characters, a little girl and a big, strong guy. The little girl has hacking powers, you're on a moon base, and AI is taking over. So you need to use the girl to hack the robots, reveal weak spots, use the guy to damage those weak spots. That's about all we know about the game. But surprisingly, we're actually getting amiibo with this game. So, if we hear about this game, which we probably will, because, Capcom loves Nintendo, and we're getting amiibo for it. So I bet we'll hear more about this game, and hopefully we can find out what the amiibo will do in the game, because at least for me, that's a pretty big deciding point on if I would get the amiibo or not. The next game that we already know about, but we could see, is more Lego Batman information. Now, we did get a ton of info on this on like a pretty big trailer they gave us, but since we still don't know a release date, I feel like this game's kind of up in the air still. It's a little bit like, do we know enough info? Because I feel like if we don't know the release date, we probably don't know enough for before the game comes out. Another game that we've heard about is Reanimal. It's by the same creators of the Little Nightmare series, and you can do 1-player, 2-player. It's kind of like a horror, platformer, and another game that we know is coming to Switch 2, just don't know too much about. I'm not super likely to expect it, but I do think it would be nice to expect it. It is a game I am considering getting, so I personally would like to see it. But yeah, those are all the games that we already know are coming to the console, but we need more info on. So, okay, before we wrap up this video, I just want to mention 2 games that we technically have no official announcement that they're coming to the console, but from leaks and other data, we could be seeing these games, and it is so exciting, especially for my situation personally. And the first game out of these 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2. The first one just got a Switch 2 version upgrade. The second one coming to this console makes a ton of sense. We know they like to add, now that Switch 2's got power, it's definitely stronger than PS4. We could see these big games, and clearly they like adding these games because Cyberpunk was a big deal when the console released. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely a big deal coming to this console, and if it does, I'm probably going to get it myself. I've never played a Red Dead Redemption 2 before. I know it's one of the most famous games in history. I would love it if they added it so I could play it. Yeah, we might see that game. It's very likely, actually, because obviously they're going to be wanting to reveal his new stuff, and, from leaks, info, data gathering, pretty likely we see this. And, okay, stay in your seats. The next game that we could be getting for the Switch 2 is good ol' Expedition 33. I've mentioned this in other videos. I desperately would like to play this game. I haven't. I know it's a masterpiece. I know it rightfully won Game of the Year. And yeah, I want to play it. I don't have a console that can currently do that. But it is very likely to come to the Switch 2. Nate the Hate said he got some leaks, and he thinks it might come to the Switch 2. And if Nate the Hate thinks it might happen, it will probably happen. And if he says it'll happen, it will happen. Everyone agrees Nate the Hate is the most reliable source out there. So, yeah, Expedition 33, Clara Obscure, is very likely to come to the console. And personally, for my own preference, this is wonderful if this actually happens. Would be overjoyed if this happened, more than you can imagine. Very excited for the possibility of this. I've been wanting it to happen for a while because Clara Obscure Expedition 33 has been out for a while, and I've just had to basically wait, and hope that comes to the console. And now it's starting to feel pretty likely. So, those are my thoughts on this being a, partner presentation for Nintendo. It is very likely to happen this Thursday. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it made your day a little bit better. If you've watched this far, maybe consider leaving a like. Subscribing helps out way more than you realize. And yeah, peace out, everyone.